Okay, so let's start next topic, maxima and minima. Okay, ढंग से समझने की कोशिश कीजिएगा, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है एंड बोर्ड पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी, जेई पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. बोर्ड में 100% 5 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन आना ही आना है. ओके, so first we will understand the basic concepts of maxima and minima. To understand maxima and minima, what are we doing? We are taking this a random curve. Suppose this is the curve. Okay, so we have taken this curve. Suppose these are the points. Say this point is small a, this point is b, this point corresponds to c, d, this point is e, and this point is f. Okay, now focus. What are we doing here? First, notice at all these points. What is f dash x? If this curve is y is equals to f of x, if this curve is y is equals to f of x, what we notice here? Look here. What the slope of tangent at this point A is? What is f dash x? Equals to 0. What is f dash x here at B? 0. What is f dash x C? 0. What is f dash x at D? 0. What is f dash x at E? 0. Is it 0? Recall the memory. What was pin chubne pe? If not differentiable. So at this point E, f of x is not differentiable. Okay, and at what is slope of tangent at f? Again 0. What is slope of tangent is again 0. So first important thing is these all points. What? A, B, C, D. So this is what? A, B, C, D, E, F. These all are critical points. These all are critical points. Most important thing, critical points. This is very important topic from the point of view maxima and minima. What are critical points? A, B, C, D, E, F. So what is the definition of critical points? What you can conclude from here? What is if f dash x equals to 0 or f of x does not exist or vanishes or f function is not differentiable. That means what are critical points? Those points at which f dash x equals to 0 or f dash x vanishes. Vanishes मतलब क्या होता है? गायब. ठीक है, मतलब f dash x exist नहीं करता. So what are critical points? The points where f dash x equals to 0 or f dash x vanishes are called critical points. Okay. Now, second important thing we have already discussed about this. Suppose this is slope of tangent m is equals to what? Tan theta. And we know if suppose this is the curve and if this is the line, what will be its slope? And positive, negative? Positive, because theta is what? Acute angle. If theta is between 0 to pi by 2, then what will be? Slope will be positive. And if theta is between pi by 2 to pi, then that is theta is obtuse angle, then m is negative. Is it okay? Okay. So what are we discussing here? Look here, very important point. What is, just notice the sign of f dash x or slope of tangent just before a. Look here. What is slope of tangent just before a? It is positive or negative? Positive. What is slope of tangent after a? Negative. Okay. So slope of tangent is changing from positive to negative. Slope of tangent is changing to from positive to negative. So we are getting what? Maxima here. Okay, now look at point C. What is slope of tangent before C? Positive. What is slope of tangent after C? Negative. So again, slope of tangent is changing from positive to negative. So this is again point of maxima. What is slope of tangent before E? Positive. What is slope of tangent after E? Negative. So again, slope of tangent changing from positive to negative. So point of maxima. So what is it? If x increases through the point, f is increasing through this point, मतलब इस point से pass होने पे जब x increase हो रहा है, Then if sign of f dash x changes from positive to negative, then we get what? Point of. Now we will rectify this. These are points of local maxima. These are what? Points of local maxima. These are points of local maxima. So what is A, C and E? A, C, E. These are points of local maxima. These are points of local maxima. Out of these points, this is what? Maximum value out of local maxima. This is maximum value. So this point is C. This is point of absolute or global maxima. Absolute or global maxima. Got it or not? Okay. जो सबसे highest है, that is what? Global or absolute maxima. Okay. Now, let us say point B. What is slope of tangent before B? Negative. What is slope of tangent after B? Positive. So slope of tangent changing from negative to positive. So negative to positive, point of local minima. Negative, slope of tangent negative, positive. So this is what? Local minima. So what are points? B and D. B and D. What is B and D? Points of local minima. Points of local minima. Now, okay, points of local minima. Out of these two local minima, what is जो सबसे minimum है? That point D. So this point is absolute or global minima. So what you can say about E? It is point of. So what is point E? What can we say about point E? Point of absolute or global minima. Point of absolute or global minima. Is it okay? Now, global or absolute or point of. Okay, sorry. This point is D. Okay, point D is point of absolute or global minima. Okay, what is here now? Look here. Positive to negative, maxima. Okay, now look here. At point F, just before, what is slope of tangent? Negative. What is after F? Negative. That means sign of f dash x does not change. So f dash x ka sign does not change. That means this is point of inflection. This is called point of inflection. So what you can say about F? F point is point of inflection. Okay, point of inflection. Okay, so what is the most important thing about this? First, we need to find critical points. Now, we have two methods to find maxima and minima. First derivative test and second derivative test. This curve concludes about first derivative test, because what are we using here? Only first derivative. What are we using here? Only first derivative. Okay, what is using first derivative? This is f dash x. We are using only f dash x. We are using f dash x. So this is what? First derivative test. So we are concluding using first derivative. That's why this is called first derivative test. So what will be definition if we say first point is critical points? What are critical points? If f dash x is equals to 0 or f dash x vanishes, those points are called critical points. Second is point of local maxima. If sign of f dash x changes from positive to negative, if sign of f dash x changes from positive to negative as x increases to point, that point is called point of local maxima. And out of these local maximum value, the maximum value is called absolute maxima, and that point is called point of global maxima or absolute maxima. Okay, now if sign of f dash x changes from negative to positive as x increases to the point, then it is called point of local minima. Point of local minima. And out of these local minimum values, the least value is called absolute or global minima. and that point is called point of global minima. Okay, if sign of f dash x does not change, negative 0 then negative, it may be like this, positive 0 positive. So this is what also point of inflection. That means if sign of f dash x does not change as x increases through the point, then that point is called point of inflection. Okay, so we already know how to check the sign of f dash x. Now when we talk about increasing and decreasing function, we talk about intervals. Okay, suppose these are the intervals. If sign of f dash x is positive in this interval, then function is called increasing. If suppose sign of f dash x is negative in this interval, then function is called decreasing in this function, sorry, in this interval. Suppose sign of f dash x is again negative, then this is function is decreasing in this interval. And suppose this is plus. Okay, these are sign of f dash x. These are what? Sign of f dash x. Now when we talk about increasing or decreasing function, we talk about intervals. That function interval में function कैसा होगा, increasing होगा या decreasing. But when we talk about maxima and minima, we talk about these points. Look at this point, sign of f dash x changes from positive to negative. So this is point of local maxima. What is at this point? Sign of f dash x does not change. So this is point of inflection. And what about this point? Sign of f dash x changes from negative to positive. So this is what? Point of local minima. Okay. Okay. Let's have example on the concept maxima and minima. Question is find absolute maximum and minimum value of the function f of x is equals to x power 4 minus 8x cube plus 22x square minus 24x plus 21. So whether we use first derivative test or second derivative test, first we have to find critical points. And what is the procedure to find critical points? We need to find f dash x. Okay, so if f dash x is equals to 0 or f dash x vanishes, those points will be critical points. So we are finding f dash x. When you find f dash x, it will be 4x cube minus 24x square plus 44x minus 24. This is cubic equation. So we can take 4 common. So what it will be? X cube minus 6x square plus 11x minus 6. Okay, so this is cubic equation. Now what is the procedure to solve cubic equation? To find critical points, we have to factorize this. And what is, if cubic equation is there, what we need to do? First we have to use hit and trial method. So to apply hit and trial method, what is best? Always use first x is equals to 1 minus 1. इन दोनों में से कोई वैल्यू काम कर जाएगी, otherwise go for 2 and minus 2. If these four values don't work, then what we need to do? Half and minus half. इनमें से definitely कर जाती है for hit and trial method. Otherwise we can't do. We have to check for other values. So if you find, look here, x is equals to 1. X is equals to 1 is satisfying here. 1 minus 6 plus 11 minus 6, 0. So x is equals to 1 is a 0 of this polynomial. So x minus 1 is a factor. So what we'll do? We'll divide it by x minus 1. This x cube minus 6x square plus 11x minus 6. Okay. So when you'll divide this, this is x square into x cube minus x square. This is minus plus. So it is minus 5x square plus 11x minus 6. What is next? Minus 5x square. It is x. So what? Minus 5x. So it is minus 5x square plus 5x. So it is plus minus. So this is again cancelled out. 11x plus 5x. Minus 5x. So it is 6x minus 6. So it is plus 6x. So it is 6x minus 6. So one factor is x minus 1 and other factors will be given by quotient x square minus 5x plus 6. And when you apply middle term splitting here, factors will be x minus 2 and x minus 3. So what is it? It is 4 into x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 3. So now we will draw the number line. And on number line, it is 1, 2, 3. From here, x is equals to 1, x is equals to 2, x is equals to 3. If we check the sign of f dash x, we will find plus, minus, plus, minus. We have already discussed about the tricks. How can we find signs easily? Okay, now look at x is equals to 1, at x is equals to 1 and 3. What is going here? At x is equals to 1. At x is equals to 1. Sign of f dash x changes from negative to positive. negative to positive. So x is equals to 1 is point of local minima. X is equals to 3, point of local minima. Sign of f dash x changes from negative to positive. So x is equals to 1 and 3 are point of local minima. And what about x is equals to 2? Sign of f dash x changes from positive to negative. So it is local, point of local maxima. And it will also be what? Point of absolute maxima, because we have only one point here of maxima. So what? X is equals to 2 is what? Point of लोकल मैक्सिमा, और इसको हम क्या बोल सकते हैं? एब्सोल्यूट मैक्सिमा भी बोल सकते हैं, ऑल्सो पॉइंट ऑफ एब्सोल्यूट मैक्सिमा. बट व्हाट इज क्वेश्चन? We have to find not point, we have to find maximum value. So what will be absolute maximum value? Therefore absolute maximum value f of 2. What is f of 2? It is when you put 2 here, after solving you will get 109. Okay, sorry, 30. So what is absolute maximum value? 30. What is absolute maximum value? 30. Okay, now these 2 points are point of local minima. Okay, x is equals to 1 and 3 are points of local minima. So अगर हम minimum value find करें, so how will you find f of 1 and f of 3? When you find f of 1, it is 12. After putting the value x is equals to 2 in this function, f of 1 is 12, and fortunately f of 3 is also 12. So what you can say? These both are points of absolute minima, and one thing is clear, both are points of local absolute minima. And what is the minimum value? Absolute minimum value is 12. Therefore absolute minimum value is 12 is 12. Okay.